Just wanted to take a brief moment and introduce myself. I've got a couple videos up that, some folks seem to like. So, just going to introduce myself. My name's Dave. I used to be a CNA. I worked in nursing for, probably about 12, 13 years. And then got into knife making and blacksmithing as a hobby at around the same time. I worked as a CNA for years, up until recently. I sustained an injury that I don't think I'll be able to go back to that line of work, sadly, as much as I enjoyed it. But it's given me some more time to concentrate more on the knife making and turning it into a fruitful adventure, a little bit more than a hobby. How and why I got into knife making, it's pretty simple. I found it fascinating as a child, or just blacksmithing in general, watching the old movies like Excalibur and, of course, some of the newer series like Game of Thrones and, anything to do with the swords and the knights and the armor. And I just found that all fascinating, and the process of making those seemed very intriguing to me. As a child, my great-grandfather was a knife maker. I really don't remember a whole lot of him other than, stories that I've been told. But, I got that, and I guess you'd say my heritage, my ancestry. Like I said, I got into my knife making venture about 12 or 13 years ago. I ended up seeing a video on YouTube, I believe it was the King of Random, where he had made a foundry using plaster of Paris and some buckets and some other things. And I had somebody that gave me a chunk of railroad track, so I decided to make it into an anvil, and I made one of these old foundries. And that was my first forge. And then slowly I started accumulating more, and a friend of mine, his family owned a general store, which they was doing, I guess you could say, kind of like a rustic western style to it. They happen to have a space down there, and I got to go down there to do demonstrations on the weekends. That place was always packed. Especially Sunday, they would have people come in there to do bluegrass music and music similar to that, country and bluegrass music. And the place was packed. Probably around 2017-ish, maybe 2016, the local newspaper ended up finding out about us and decided to come out and do a story. And we ended up getting so many visitors after that. I did a thing at the Heritage Museum in Greenville, Illinois, where I went up there and did demonstrations and was selling some of my knives. And it was wonderful. Wonderful experience. Lots of great, nice people. Couldn't ask for better. We ended up having the Boy Scouts come out for a demonstration. It was wonderful just to see, the little kids seeing something for the first time, kind of in awe, the looks on their faces at the process. And, well, now, what else could I talk about? Channel goals, short-term and long-term. In the short term, I would like to definitely, regardless if I get monetized or how things go, I enjoy teaching, trying to keep a dying art alive. I'm 100% self-taught. So I want to teach everything that I had to learn the hard way to anybody who's wanting to learn. that information I would like to make readily available. I hope that I can get this video thing, the editing and all that down enough that I can be somewhat entertaining at times. Inspiration, not only on knife making projects, but it is Apocalyptic Knifeworks, but I do want to touch on more than just knife making. Like I said, I want to teach knife making, teach various other things. I want to be inspirational. All of us have some baggage, and you know, I was in a 17-year very, very abusive relationship with an alcoholic and drug addict who eventually decided to try to unalive me and my daughter in some kind of ritual. She went crazy. But you know, I've been through some stuff, so I mean, regardless of what you've been through, it can take the wind out of your sails, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Dreams are within reach. As an example, I never thought I'd be making videos on YouTube. Apocalyptic Knifeworks, talking about the apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse, the EMP, the grid going down, the massive pandemic, food shortages, whatever apocalypse there is, the return of Christ, whatever apocalypse it is, there's something coming. So it's going to be kind of like like to talk about preps, and not just teaching, as I said, with knife making, but investing. Not investing money, not buying this gizmo or that gadget or whatever, because in a real life situation, what you have up here is what's going to save you. So invest in knowledge. When you know how to live the way they lived without refrigeration, how to purify water, how to make shelters, things of this nature, then it don't matter what happens. You'll be ready. You'll know what to do. You'll be one up on everybody else. I would like to also talk about various, I guess you could say, scriptures, not only Christian scriptures, but you know, from various cultures regarding the apocalypse, and you know what they say regarding their religion's preps and how that time is to be seen. Now, for my long-term goals for the channel, well, obviously I would like to get monetized. I'd like to hopefully make good enough content that I can get people coming back and attract some new folks. If that happens, then eventually I would like to get monetized and be able to do this solely as a living. Once that happens, if that happens, then the next goal after that would be I would like to set up some kind of way to give back to the community, especially like disaster relief. So I'd probably set up some charity or charities that could handle that if and when the time comes. That's definitely a goal. And I'm going to be doing some reoccurring projects. There's one, I'm actually got a hold of the police department here recently, and I'm waiting to hear back from them, but I would like to, you know, an officer that's gone above and beyond the call of duty, I would like to make them a knife and like to talk about their situation and their story. I still have to hear back from them to see how receptive they are, but I don't want to just do it with local law enforcement. I'd like to eventually branch out and hit EMS and first responders and firefighters, and you know the people that every day they're there for us, but we take for granted. And you know, I mean, that's a brief introduction of me and the plans that I have for the channel, and I hope you join us because we plan on doing a lot here. Be blessed.